What's up? It's Thursday night. It's Andy, and I'm taking on the house. No house advantage for Thursday night football. And what does that mean? It means I got to make 5 picks correctly. I got to pick 5 player props. And if I'm correct with those 5, I'm going to net up to 20 times my money. So if I can nail 5 on this Thursday night, 20 times my money sounds pretty good. On No House Advantage, they got 2 types of contests. We submitted lineups for the pick'em contest yesterday, and the pick'em contest is like a tournament style contest where the more player props you get right, the higher you go in the standings. You can win first prize up to like $15,000-$20,000. That would be nice. Or you can make 5 selections in this versus the house option, which we're gonna take part in today, and net up to 20 times your money. So definitely go to No House Advantage, check it out. It's cool. It's fantasy and player props rolled into one, and if you go there using the link in the description here, they will actually match your first deposit up to $50. Not too bad if you ask me. You put in 50, you get 50, pick some player props, and wow, you're gonna have a good weekend. It's nice when it happens on a Thursday night going into the week. Everybody's working for the weekend, but you're not working for the weekend. You're just picking 5 props, which we're about to do right now. And as always, if you don't like my personal selections, my personal sniffs, do yourself a favor and go over to Stokastic. They have free projections for this particular contest, but as I've told you before, don't ask me how they make them. I'm not allowed to ask. If I type it in there, that's when they start cameras in here and people are listening, my Alexa device. I don't ask, but just know it's probably not easy. So go check out the optimal lineups and projection pages for this specific contest over at Stokastic. Once again, it's absolutely free. So we're looking at Houston going to the Eagles. Like I mentioned, a Super Bowl preview. No, I mean, this might be an absolute massacre, and you actually have to factor that in when making some of your picks. I'm scared of second half benchings. You're talking about a 2-touchdown spread, so if you're picking someone like Jalen Hurts to throw over a certain amount of yards, what if he's not even in the game? And that is actually going to inform one of my decisions. But first, I'm going to stick with the ones I'm most confident about, and that is DeVonta Smith, the over on receiving yards here. If you look previously, when one of these wide receivers has a really big week, it seems like Hurts always finds the other one. Maybe it's because that other receiver is getting triple covered and then DeVonta Smith is getting all the best looks. But I'm going to take DeVonta Smith's over on receiving yards tonight. And then I'm also going to take the over for Dallas Goedert receiving yards. And I don't know, maybe it's all built on the premise that A.J. Brown, coming off a 3-touchdown game, is going to draw all the attention, so there's going to be a bunch of other opportunities for any receiver not named A.J. Brown. So I actually like the over for both DeVonta Smith and Dallas Goedert, but I'm still scared to take the over on passing yards for Jalen Hurts because we don't know if he's going to get benched in the second half. But just in case he does get benched in the second half, that's why I'm taking the under on Jalen Hurts' rushing yards. The way I look at quarterbacks who are dual threats, in games they need to win, in games where teams push them, they're way more likely to run and open up the playbook. Because anytime you run your quarterback a whole bunch of times, they're susceptible to injuries. But in games like this, games where you can easily control the line of scrimmage and you should be up by multiple scores, as the line suggests, I don't believe you're going to see him holding on to a bunch of those read options, putting himself in harm's way. What did he have last week in what was a beating? 3 attempts, it was something like that. So if you find yourself in a game that ends up similarly to last week's against Pittsburgh, you're not going to be getting all these rushing opportunities, then who knows how long he's going to play into the game. So I'm going to take the under on Jalen Hurts' rushing yards. Then there's a one that's a little more ballsy, but it's kind of the same thing. Miles Sanders. You would assume, oh my God, did you see what Derrick Henry did against Houston on the ground last week? Miles Sanders is going to go off. You don't necessarily know that because against a bad team, he's clearly their best running back. They need to save him for the stretch run. You think they're giving him 30 carries tonight? There was a game earlier this year. It was in rain and they were down 2 touchdowns. He got a bunch of carries that week, but it was only it was his career high at 24, 25. This is not a guy they're going to run into the ground, especially when he's built the way he is. This is going to be one of those, as I like to call them, Doug Peterson games, where you're going to see the full rotation at running back. And if that's the case, and then you don't know about him resting in the second half as well, I'm taking the under on Miles Sanders rushing yard, especially when it's in the 70s. And then lastly, I guess we got to take somebody on the Houston side of the ball, but so many of the receivers are out. No Brandon Cooks, no Nico Collins. Who the hell is he going to be throwing to? I really don't know, and I really don't care. It's why I'm taking the under 219.5 passing yards. It's a little scared because what if he gets junk time yards at the end or something like that? But man, who is he throwing the ball to? This might be one of those games they just commit to Pierce on the ground, and I don't see him having a good game either. Unless something comes out of left field to ignite Houston in this game, outdoors in Philadelphia, which is a manic city at the moment with everything that's going on with the Phillies and everything. I can't imagine Mills, who couldn't even throw for a decent amount of yards last week with Cooks at home, indoor against Tennessee. On the road, yeah, how did Kirk Cousins do on the road in prime time over there, a couple weeks back? So I'm going to take the under on Mills passing yards. And those are my 5 selections for this Thursday night. I hope they net you 20 times your cash. Have a good one, ladies and gentlemen. I guess I will be back with you next week. Yeah, see you then.